Welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and this is going to be another video on this 65 Mustang that's a rolling train wreck. So follow me along through the intro, and I'll be right back. So guys, since the other video has gotten a lot of attention, I decided to go back in and make a video a few days later here. We got the interior ripped out of this car so we can see everything on the top side. Also got all trunk stuff out of it, and all that good stuff. And it's really not good. Uh, I've advised the owner several times, we need to look at his other 65 roller that he has. And he is just kind of numb to the fact that he's caught up that this car is painted, even though the paint is super poor on it and it needs to be painted again. He's caught up on the paint and the interior. And the fact that it's all together and it does run and drive, unfortunately, it's not safe. So, against my better judgment, and to try to keep him from getting killed driving this car, because that's the option I have here, guys, is he takes the car like it is, and I put the insides back in it, and he drives it, and, he takes a risk of getting himself killed. Or I can try to at least make this car structurally safe. So, before we get into what I'm going to do to this car, I'm going to show you what else I found and the other poor quality work and some other issues. It's going to be a long process, and I'm going to document it through these videos as we go along. Just so that everything is transparent, and if anything comes of this car, there's video evidence of it. Unfortunately, whoever done this car, it's more than intentional that this stuff was covered up. And to be honest, I thought this was an older 80s repaint, and I do believe this car has intentionally been made to look like that. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, but we'll get into that later, So, flip her around. I'm going to show you what I got. I'm going to show you what I see from the top side. Then we're going to lift it up. I'm going to show you all the light that shines through the floor pans on the bottom side. So, I guess there's not really going to be no better place to start other than in this front floorboard. So, as you can see, there's rust on top of this panel, and that's because there is no cowl up here. I can't show you all that because I don't have the bottom side of the dash stuff ripped out of it, and he does not want to fix that. His solution is he's just going to not wash it. So, if you get in here, you can see we still got more booger welds. Look at these big old gaps, guys. All the way up through the rocker panel there. And this is what ties your subframe that's hiding under here to your rocker panel. The complete structure. That up there, that's a big old honking hole. It was full of tar. The seat brace right here is literally only attached by these little small line of booger welds right here. And this little plate that I'm sure is covering some kind of rust. But I can take a screwdriver and stick it under this gap and pry the seat base up. The rear floor, which is original, seems pretty solid, other than it being covered with all this roof tar and, this old roof mastic mess that's literally impossible to remove. The seat belts were held in with just bolts stuck through the floor with no nuts on the back side. And back here, under the rear seat, there's rust holes that were filled with kitty hair. If anybody don't know what kitty hair is, it is a fiberglass reinforced Bondo. There's no spot welds on the inside of the quarter panel seam. The rear seat brace, I think I covered that in the last video. It is not attached. And there's still some tar covering up the booger weld seams on the passenger side floor pan. Over there. And we'll go up the firewall here in a second. But there was no lower shifter boot on it around the shifter. That's also a hazard of having carbon monoxide in the car. Not that it matters when you got all these honking holes. So, I did pull the headliner loose down here so I could see the upper seam and the quarters. They literally have like one booger spot weld, and there's holes punched all in here, and the old quarter panel's beat down. It's full Bondo right here. It actually has big old Bondo chunks sticking through. And you can hear how thick it is all through here. And while the door, you can see with this car on the rack, you can watch this door raise up. That's because right now, this rack is not doing this thing any favors. And to start to fix this stuff, it's going to have to come off and be squared up by the rocker panels. And I've had people say these cars weren't square from the factory, and that is absolutely true, but there's usually about an 8 to 1/4 inch variance. That's about all you can shoot for, especially on a mess like this. The no rear window studs, there's actually the holes where they ripped them rear studs out for the trim. You can shine a flashlight up under the quarter here and see light. And it also has rot and rust around this rear window rubber. More of the atrocities, you can see how this trunk lip is higher than the quarter panel trunk lip. All this stuff's pretty bad, guys. The rear panel here, you can take a screwdriver, stick in here, and you can see it when I push it on my fingers. The rear panel is not welded in on the bottom at all. The only thing that's kind of somewhat attached, okay, even though the welds are ugly, I could deal with ugly welds if they hold. Either way, the rear bumper braces are actually attached to the floor, but they're not attached to the subframe. So, like I said, up in them quarters, it's ugly, guys. I can't show y'all because I can't get my phone up in there, but it needs the rear half of the car cut off. So, we talked about the rear panel being in too high and the quarters being on too low, especially in the rear half. So, you can see this door also. And this isn't an adjustment thing, guys. This is where this car is flexing on this rack. More of the same boogery weld stuff on this seat base here. And as you go up this cowl up through there, I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's patches and booger stuff all the way up to the bottom of the cowl. Obviously, I'm sure it was rotted out because that's why you would put floor pans. But this pan, same way, you can stick a screwdriver in here. You can pop it off. You know, it's got some better boogery welds here and there on this side, but still not great. Rot hole that was covered up with some tar type stuff, or some kind of epoxy of some things. When you look in the quarter down there, that's a, can't really see in there, but there's a hole that goes straight through the wheel well. Same on the other side over here. So I advised him yesterday that to fix this car right, and really the only way I'd want to fix it is if I cut the quarter panels back out of it. And that would at least give me a chance to tie the wheelhouses and everything in together. That would be correct. Now keep in mind, I don't restore cars. I work on hot rod stuff. I do metal work and stuff on my own things. So let me get this thing up in there and I'll show you the light from the bottom side. So we're here on the bottom, okay? And you can see where I've dug the butyl rubber out that I told y'all about. I've not dug it all out yet from the last video. That's what it was covering, guys. Your floor pan is not attached. And that big old honking hole that was up here in the front with this mess, well, there it is right there. I'll give you an idea on size. I'll stick my finger through it. So, you know, this thing is a mess. And I really didn't want to mess with it. And I tried every way in the world to not mess with it. And unfortunately, I'm going to be stuck at least trying to make it somewhat better. As you can see, we're on the passenger side. You see that light through there. And I believe this Bondo is just covering a dent by shining the flashlight up in here. It looks pretty solid. So hopefully the front of that rocker's not rotted out. Because I don't know if you can see there, guys, but that is the factory stamp in that rocker. So I know the rocker has not been compromised. But we get to the rear half of the floor, it's bad. And depending on which way you shine the light, you can see light all the way around this torque box back here. So, this is just a taste of some of the stuff I've dug out of this thing. And I've got a 5-gallon bucket full of, I'm not going to say just roof mastic, guys, but, this epoxy tar stuff, kitty hair, combination of things. Got a 5-gallon bucket full of it. And there's probably 2 more 5-gallon bucketfuls of stuff to dig out of the car. So you can see in the wheel well there. That's no surprise with the mess we've seen. And, it just, when you move the light to the trunk, you can see light all through here. So one may ask, how are you going to go about fixing this? I have absolutely no idea, guys. I do know I'm going to have to cut most of this stuff back out, regardless of how much I've begged and pleaded with him to, just get rid of it or use it for a parts donor for his other 65. He just don't want to do it. So, to add further context, guys, he is elderly. And he's kind of caught up in the high school, it's just like the one he had in high school. So, it's an emotional attachment to something that's not emotionally attached to that he does not want to kill. So, I'm going to do my best. I am going to make this car structurally sound. I can do that. I can brace the car. I tie the subframes together. I can fully weld these horribly welded floor pans in. They will never look OE. They will never be beautiful. But, I can at least make the car where it's not going to fall apart. To make all the body panels fit right, fix all the other issues, the quarter panels have to be cut out. I would have to have this car blasted or acid dipped. And that's the route that it doesn't need to go. But he's never going to do that. So I'm going to try to fix what I can. Use these videos to document the process, to show the work I do is correct, or at least as correct as it can be in this situation. I will be adding subframe connectors, and I will probably be tying those into the rocker panels. I'm definitely cutting this exhaust off here that is on the brake line and on the tailpipe. He will just have to take it to a muffler shop and get some more tailpipes put on it, because I'm not going to turn him loose with the gas tank being straight up against the tailpipe and the tailpipe being right up against the brake line. I just can't do it. So, going to fix what little mechanical stuff we got. That oil pan that's rubbing on that brace, I'm going to cut that out and try to put a nut cert in that frame, or weld a nut in it, so it can be bolted in properly and get it off that oil pan. But the biggest thing is I've got to get this car somewhat back into square. And that is going to be a long, involved process. I'm going to have to do it in my upper bays and not on this rack. Because no matter what you do, guys, these racks are never level. And you should never cut pans out on a, a 2 or 4-post rack. The car should be supported by the rocker panels. It should be squared by the rocker panels and use them as a base to work off of. And that's what I'm going to do. So, will it ever be 100% right? No, it will not. But at this point, he's better off using his donor shell, buying a new shell, or starting over. Like I told him, I said, you can't really sell this car to anybody with any kind of confidence. Now that you know that the problems are there, you just can't do that. It becomes a liability, and it does set you up for a lawsuit. But I would also feel bad if I turned him loose in this car and he drove it home and got killed on his way home. So I also can't do that either. Now keep in mind, guys, this is what I do for a living. I don't do car restorations, but I do patch panels, metal work. You know, I've done that stuff over the years. So, how do you take a car that needs to be cut 100% apart and need a restoration? Better. Yeah, I don't know. But we're going to do it. So, I appreciate everybody that's watched the other video and commented. Sometimes, guys, you just can't make the customer realize how severe this is. And I've had him over here multiple times and showed him multiple things, including me prying the subframes off the floor pans. If that's not enough to scare the crap out of you, it should be. So, the big thing is just gotta get it square, get it straightened up, and we'll go from there. So, I'll be back here in a little while. I want to go through some more things, and I'll update you then. Well, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay updated on this project. This is going to be it for me with this car today. Got a bunch of stuff to do. Bunch of stuff still scrape out, a bunch of stuff chip out. Just where we can get to a point where we can finish evaluating how bad the situation actually is. So, until then, guys, stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully, I'll have this thing tore the rest of the way down and up on the upper band squared up by then. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll see you at the next video.